Gotta wait for the lady to speak, though.
This conference will now be
There we
recorded.
go. Right, we'll begin with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everybody to the July 17th Marion County Commission meeting. We begin with public forum. I don't see anyone online. And other than Phyllis, is there anyone in the room to make comments? Okay. We will move on into agenda approval. Brad Jantz will not be here due to a medical issue. Any other changes to the agenda? All right, agenda stands approved. Move into administrative. Ashley.
Okay. We have some early checks.
Okay. Commission's had a chance to review the early checks. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'd make that motion to approve.
Okay, motion from Commissioner Dalkey to approve early checks. $961.12. Second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 4-0. Have Jonah to pass it.
Get your exercise today.
Yeah.
Going both ways.
I guess I should mention Commissioner Goering will not be able to join us today. He's in training for his profession. Thanks.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, next I have the minutes of July 10.
Okay, the Commission has had a chance to review minutes of July 10. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion carried 4-0.
I think the microphone's on.
No.
So now?
It's fine, Phyllis is here.
Right behind you. Turn it off.
Turn Kent's on so it
Yeah.
goes boom.
Blast me.
Blast it.
I think it's on. That's off. Okay, hold your ears, I don't know. That's on. I don't know. I'll keep messing with it. Would you like to move on though?
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's two people here that knows, Jonah knows and Tina knows whether they're still making contact or not, but I think we ought to ask again to hurry up and, you know, see what the holdup is on our
Oh,
system.
okay, let's do a test. I see Laura's on. Laura, could you type in the chat box? Can you hear us? I can't.
Yes, she
Okay,
can.
we're good. Thank you. All right, microphone is working then. What do you have next?
Okay, next we have some change orders for signatures and then also some supplements just for review.
Okay. for review. Okay, those are the signatures.
In their houses. Good thing.
Yeah.
Keep the transfer station busy.
Yeah.
Need to get one cleaned up and another one shows up.
Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Next, we have a request from Sharon Olmsted to roll over 29 hours of vacation.
Okay, I see for an additional 30 days.
Yes.
Is that enough time, or she needs 60 days?
I think the request was for 30.
She said for 30 days.
I'm gonna get motion.
Okay. We have a motion from Commissioner Dalkey and a second from Commissioner Becker to approve the carryover 29 hours of vacation for an additional 30 days for Sharon Homestead. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 4-0.
Okay. Next, I have a recommendation for appointment for Prairie View. It's for the Marion County Advisory Committee.
Okay. This would be Constance Isaac. Pass it around, let you review.
Who she's replacing?
Connect to the dating people.
They're just adding
They've
people.
been adding a bunch,
Okay.
trying to get more of the community involved.
Thanks, Brian. I'll see you tonight.
Okay, would there be a motion to approve Constance Isaac?
I'll make a motion to approve Constance Isaac for appointment to Prairie View Advisory Committee.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Becker, a second from Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion, questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion carried 4-0.
The last thing I have is a notice of revenue neutral rate intent. It's, I think it was It's when we're gonna have our hearing.
Yes. Okay, notice of revenue neutral rate intent. Governing body, Marion County hereby notifies the county clerk of intent regarding revenue neutral rate. Yes, we intend to exceed the revenue neutral rate. Proposed mill levy is 76.046. The date of hearing between August 20th and September 20th is scheduled for September 18th. Time of the hearing is 12:30. Location, County Commission Chambers, Marion Courthouse. Motion to approve.
I'd make it.
Motion by Commissioner Dalkey, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carried 4-0.
There you go. And that's all I have.
Okay. Very good. Concludes administrative. I think next item on the agenda is Josh, if Josh happens to be in the hallway.
Come on down.
Hello, Josh.
Afternoon. Hello.
It'll be a nice steamy day.
Oh, yeah. It's nice to have a little shower, but I don't like the humidity afterwards.
Cloud cover was nice.
I got bids for the side-by-side for put the sprayer in. I had 3 bids. I got one from John Deere, Ag Spray, and Fairbanks.
Okay. And what would be your recommendation?
The Prairie Land one is the least expensive of the 3, and they seem to have everything. It's supposed to be a plug and go, where they'll put it in harness. I can adjust my spray pressures, my miles per hour, how many gallons per acre I'm gonna put down. So it's all just ran inside the cab right there. It's got switches to be able to shut off a certain nozzle. If I wanted to not spray one side, I can be able to adjust it that way too, so.
Sounds like a good unit.
How many gallon is that?
It's a 90 gallon.
They all about the same size.
They're all, I got them all as close as I could to being the exact same to all of them. There's a couple that's, I think one of them's 100 gallon. I think the other one was a 90 to 100 gallon. So they're, tank wise, they're all within the same
They run
size.
electric motor.
105 gallon on the agri spray.
Yeah, okay, 105. There's a couple of electric and then one with the gas, because they don't like the electric. They was pushing the gas motor on it, so.
And your John Deere's electric.
John Deere's electric, yes.
What about,
Just start every time.
what about replacement parts? When it breaks down?
For the sprayer, as long as John Deere has them, I should be able to get the electric motor anywhere. And most, the spray parts, the boom, they're kind of, I can go anywhere and get the nozzles if need be, so.
Okay, the reason why is because I'm going through the cemetery, going through buying a sprayer, but I'm buying a lot cheaper sprayer than this. And we went through Shavens down there on I-35, just because we went there, on the old one, we went there and replaced the pump twice. And we just buy one what fits and everything. So I had to explain to my board that why I'm doing that was because if you buy one from some places, you may never get a part from it, for them to fix it. And so that was, I'm just asking if there's any thought of that. That's all I'm asking.
John Deere's got 30 locations now, so they ought to have a board someplace. Prairie Land Agrivision went together.
On the John Deere one, what's the boom width?
It's a 12.5 is
12.
what it's spraying.
And then it has a separate one or?
Yeah, it's got a separate one. You can
You guys have?
use by hand.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty handy, that.
Yeah, yeah, the John Deere, it's only got, you know, just the
Different family.
3 deals on there, but it's a whole kit and everything. So yeah, it's got your boom, your nozzles, your computer system, and then the booms on this one's the breakaway boom. So if I was going around a tree and caught it, it would come back, and then I wouldn't be tearing anything up too. So that's one I was looking at a little closer to.
That side by side, is it marked to be able to run down the roadway?
It's got blinkers and headlights and turn signals, and it's got a blinky light on it. They added that was part of the package when we bought it.
You know, I'm thinking about roadway.
Yeah, they set it up for us to, you know, if I used it on the roadways and stuff, to do it that way, to kind of give everybody a heads
So,
up. But
Is this, how long is the boom?
12, it's 11-foot boom, but sprays at 12.5.
So is that big enough to catch a ditch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That 4 or 5 foot hanging out for the
Mhm.
ditch.
Because our ditches are in bad shape. I've never seen so much Johnson grass in my life.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
290th up there is solid.
Yeah.
Durham to Lincolnville.
Yeah, I went down
5
that the
foot
other
tall.
day and I seen a lot of that and was like, but you know, if there's corn or beans around, I can't
Yeah.
spray until that's, you know, till they're at least starting to turn, and then I can get on spraying it. But I had to call in for Sarisa, and I think I figured out mileage. There was roughly about 15 miles of continuous spraying that I'm gonna have to do on just Sarisa. And then there's Johnson grass mixed into it, but there's only a couple miles on that one.
On what kind of, on a road?
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't seem like people pay much attention to that, even though it's a noxious weed.
Well,
It's,
it's really showing up now.
yeah, it's an easy transport, you know, people mowing the ditches, gets on their decks, and the seed falls off 2 miles down the road, and, you know, it doesn't take much to transport it and it to sprout up.
Okay, any other questions on the bids? If not, is there a motion?
6258 here, 67 was with John Deere, Prairie Land. That's the cheapest? That's the one you prefer?
Mhm.
Okay. I'd make that motion to go with Prairie Land for a bid of $6,258.67.
Okay. We have a motion from Commissioner Dalkey. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, Commissioner Crowfoot. Other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 4-0.
How long does it take to get one?
I'm hoping a couple weeks, what I'm hoping, so.
It's the season.
That's all I had, unless there's anything else you guys wanna discuss.
Okay. Any other?
That old semi sitting down at the transfer station,
The clutch went out of it.
why don't we sell it?
We can sell it, but I'd like to get another one for the hole and get that yellow truck out and keep it good for spare. And we can sure enough sell it.
You only got 2, right?
Yeah. Or we can just keep the yellow truck in the hole. That's it. No different to me. If I have to, I can borrow a truck from Road and Bridge as long as their tanker's empty, you know, for use for a day or 2.
But you've only got 2 semis that go, either the yellow one or a white one goes down the road to haul.
Yep.
We don't have no backup.
This is no backup.
Not sitting there without a clutch, that's true.
Yeah, we
But-
got it back in the hole and started using it, and a couple days later, they called it at me and they said, it won't go into gear, and I got in it, and sure enough, the clutch had gone out of it, so.
Do you have any idea what that costs?
I do not. I was gonna haul it down the Road and Bridge and have them put another clutch in it.
Have we had that problem since we've had it, or this is just the first time?
This is the first time.
Yeah, but is it roadworthy otherwise?
No.
That's what I mean. Well, we bought it to go down the road, and that's what it was supposed to be.
It's a yard truck.
Then we used it, if, to give a problem, then we started using the yellow one again. So, your yellow one's, it's moving, but it's got over 400,000 on it, 300,000.
It's right around the 400,000 mark.
Around 400,000 on it, so you gotta go to El Ridge every day, so.
That white truck's, it's rolled over 400,000 on it too.
Yeah. We bought the yellow one new, and we just bought that white one probably 4 or 5 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago?
Yeah.
So, you better look at what we invested for that truck. If you only go get 3 years out of it, that's not a very good
That's not
investment.
good at all.
I think the cost, do you remember what we paid for it?
It was around 60,000.
Yeah.
But I think the white truck he's talking about is that Freightliner.
How many trucks we got? You just said two.
Well, we got 2 that run down the road. We got 3 of them that are
Okay.
down there.
Okay.
The Freightliner was the one that's always went in the pit and pulled out. Clutch went out of it. And
Okay.
we've been using the yellow truck. And
To pull out?
Yeah.
Just pull out only?
yeah, it goes in and pulls out.
Okay. Well, I thought there was 3, but
Yeah, I'm sorry, I took that, I was
Yeah.
thinking wrong, so, no,
Okay.
we do have 3 total, 2 run up and down the road all the time, you know.
then we
the
probably
yellow
need
one.
to do something with it. If it's been sitting around and we haven't spent no money on it, I don't know what we got invested in that truck. But if that's the best place for it, to make some iron junk pile, well, that's the best place for it, instead of spending money on it. But if-
I mean, if it's not roadworthy, why put a clutch in the thing?
Yeah.
I
agree
mean,
with
I
that.
guess it's nice to have something just sitting there, pull the trailer out.
That's what he's doing, just pulling out the whole
I
thing.
mean, if one of the overload trucks break down, you don't have anywhere to get a new trailer, you know, while the truck's gone. You know, the 2 trucks, one's gone and one's broken.
Yeah,
We're shut down for the day then.
yeah, unless I can get another truck from Road to Bridge if their trailer's empty, cause I'm
Yeah,
not gonna empty their water tanker to be able to use their truck.
What's your best solution looking forward? We got 2 trucks with 300 and some thousand plus miles on them. Something better be on our budget, or should have been on our budget, or looking, or get some ideas where we're at with this, because we got to put a road truck down the road every day.
Mhm.
And
It's gotta be reliable.
something has to be reliable, yeah.
For going down the road.
So, I just looking ahead, we got a budget we just went through, and I know
I
the
didn't
department's
have it
tight.
on there, I was, you
Okay.
know, we had a couple other things on there, and I was hoping to try to get one more year out, trying to budget for next year's budget.
Okay.
Was kinda where I was pushing on that one, so.
But tell me what a new truck costs now,
Oh, you're looking well over 120,000.
at least.
At least.
That's what a trailer costs too.
Almost, well, yeah, trailer and truck's about the
I mean,
same,
the
or
truck.
a mill each, almost, well, not quite, but 3/4 a mill. So, well,
What's the used truck market, do anybody know?
I haven't looked at a used
Is there
truck.
some or not?
Well, they're out there, just, you know.
They're hot.
Yeah.
To get a low mile,
Yeah.
you're still paying big bucks.
well, that's what I was, when he first said that, and I was going, man, we just bought a truck. We looked for at least 5 to 10 years out of one.
It was used though.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Understand that, but somewhere you make the point to where you spend 60,000, only get 3 years, but this isn't the truck that we paid 60,000 for.
The Freightliners, it's the one,
It was here when you took over.
it was here when I took over. I can't remember when I think that was the Rollin deal too, when he was here, so.
But it was down the road for a while, I think.
They may have used it a couple times, but
Okay. All right, well,
I guess monitor the situation.
yeah.
Tight as the budget is, you're gonna have to finance one if you get it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not a great time to do that.
But do we
If you're
fix
forced to,
clutch
you don't
now?
have any choice.
Yeah.
But I think, other than budget, I'm just looking at if this truck is either worth to put a clutch in, Kent, like you said. or
Well, that's
not.
what I mean.
Yeah, that's what you're asking, really, is what you're
I mean, we're basically putting a clutch in it so we can pull trailer out.
Yeah.
You don't wanna put it on the road.
And that or for resale value, if you're gonna get rid of it. Or are you gonna keep it?
You're not gonna get anything for it, you sell it
Okay,
either.
well, then just we'll keep
That's
it.
just it. I don't know what a clutch costs on those. I mean, we can do it less expensive on our own, but still,
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's a cost, isn't it?
Just whatever, somebody needs to make a decision, tell him what's going on, or him tell us what's going on. I'm just saying, like you said, Kent, if it's not worth putting the money into it.
If you don't recommend putting any money in it, put it on the Purple Wave, that's what I'd say.
You clutch under $1,000 as long as our road and bridge will do it for me, but if I gotta haul it somewhere, I'm not gonna do it then.
Well,
Probably
then-
we're gonna drop way too much
If you
money.
wanna check with them and then bring it back to us, I guess we can go from there.
Yeah, give us an update for next week, maybe on
Okay.
what the cost of the clutch is. You can just send it to Tina,
Okay.
let us know.
Okay, this seems like a good week so far, as long, the way the weather's acting up, so I can't get out and do a whole lot this week anyway, so.
What's it gonna take to put one in? Is that a deal where either the clutch, the transmission comes out, or?
Yeah, the tranny will have to come out, be able to put the clutch in.
Okay. It's not no easy job.
Yeah. All right, well, give us an update. We get more information.
All right. All right.
Thank you, Josh.
Yep, thank you.
Marcy.
Hello.
Hi, Mike.
Day doesn't go by without either a heat warning or storm warning or both.
My job is never boring. Okay, you should have received in your packets the update for Q2
Yes.
for emergency management. Do you have any questions? Is there anything you want me to clarify? Is there anything you want more information about?
Very busy.
How'd you get all that done?
One thing I did want to ask about today, when we have equipment that is considered deployable, which means that it was purchased, for example, by Homeland Security, so it's a state asset. And then we have other equipment that was not purchased with, through Homeland Security grants that is not deployable. One of those pieces of equipment is the command trailer that we have. That is technically not deployable. What I'd like you guys to consider, and you can think about it and get back to me on it, but I would like to look at possibly deploying that to just surrounding counties. So like if Chase County calls, or if Morris County.
Talking the red one or the white one?
The white. The red is not, as of right now, is not a deployable asset because it needs too much work to be deployable. That, because it was paid with Homeland Security money, we're looking at using Homeland Security money to get it back up to date. We're not the only one that has a PSAP trailer, so that's kind of being handled at a different level than me. I just get told what's happening with it. The reason why I'm asking is Chase County borrows the 10K light trailer that we have for the Flint Hills Rodeo. They also mentioned it would be nice to have a command trailer out there as well. Because I didn't offer ours, that's why none of you got phone calls on it. But next year, if they ask, I'd like to be able to say, sure, you're one of our surrounding counties that we work with, we can deploy that. We have, which I have this for you, if you wanna pass this around, take a copy. We already have kind of a procedure in place when somebody borrows either a deployable asset. There is what we call a hand receipt in my world. They have to sign, I sign that piece of equipment over to them, they have to sign saying they're receiving it, And then on there, they have to, if anything damage happens, anything like that, they have to give it back in the same working order they received it. So that's kind of what that hand receipt says, and that's,
Like a rental car agreement.
pretty much. It's the same form that we always use. We do not charge for a deployment or anything like that. So there's no charge for them to use a deployable asset. It's part of kind of what we do. So they have not actually requested that, but because, you know, they kind of mentioned that for next year, I wanted to be kind of prepared in case they do say it. I can say yes or no based on what the commission decides.
Would there also be a possibility that it could be used for fires in that, I mean, we seem to have a lot of fires in that region.
That are not in our county?
Yes, but are adjacent to our county and an obvious threat to our county.
In that case, usually I'm involved with those, so
Right.
it's
Oh, it's already,
automatically,
okay,
yes,
okay,
it's under
okay,
Marion County,
gotcha.
and I'm the one who actually,
Okay.
will bring that out to there. And
Okay.
for example, we use it already inside the county. We used it
Sure.
at Florence, or at Peabody, 4th of July. The command trailer was down there for the Peabody 4th. So in county events, we automatically kind of use that command trailer. But this one is, we were thinking about just our surroundings. So I wouldn't be taking it out to Great Bend or something like that. It's not gonna be
It'd
deployed
just
out
be an
there.
hour away. We could always retrieve it if we needed it.
Exactly.
Within an hour or so.
Do we have to man it?
No, usually it comes unmanned. When you deploy a piece of equipment, the part of the deployment is that they will provide somebody to run the equipment. I bring it out, and like Chase brought me my 10K back, but they ran it themselves. It's from EM to EM.
So there's qualified people
Right.
in the other counties.
Mhm. And just like they have to, one of the qualifications is they have to have a piece of equipment that can haul it, because you can't just use a car to haul a command trailer. So, you know, they have to be able to have a truck available to haul the command trailer.
Tell me how many times the red trailer's been out since you've taken over?
It has not.
And that's the same answer.
Well, you mean out of the, because it's been out of there, but it hasn't been run.
Has it been out of the
Right.
shed to be used?
Yes,
same-
it
to
has
be-
been
to
out of
be
the shed.
used.
I would get the same answer if I asked Randy Frank 2-3 years ago.
It needs to go away.
It's, I don't know, tell me a reason why we're keeping it.
That is a homeland security asset. That is, we just simply house it. Kind of like the 10K and the 40K trailers.
Can we give it back to them?
We can. If you want me to give it back to Homeland, I can give it back.
I mean, it's costing us money to
I
store
don't,
it.
I don't know that that's what it is. The white one is.
Whiteman's
The
on
white
it.
one and the emergency trailer, the tire trailer, but we set that up and we just went and bought a trailer. That's why I'm saying I don't know that it's Homeland Security.
I will double check that, but
Yeah,
that's what
the red
Michelle
one
told
is.
me, because she was the one part of that purchase that.
Okay, Shell, Becker?
Abbott.
Abbott,
Michelle
Becker,
Abbott.
Abbott Becker, okay, yeah. Okay, she'd be the person to know. She was here when they set it up.
Because we bought the white one with COVID money.
Okay,
Yeah, so that's Marion County's, that's not Homeland's.
okay. So, why have a trailer that if Greensburg gets wiped out, we wouldn't send? Just asking.
And this only applies if it is a Homeland asset. What they try to do, just like they do with the 10K and the 40K, they try to pre-position equipment around different regions. And so when they say, okay, Marcy, this 40K is gonna be deployed to wherever, then I take it to wherever they tell me to take, the state tells me to take it to. And that's because it was used with federal money to buy it. If it is a county asset, that's a total different story.
Correct.
Just like with the command trailer, the commission would give me permission to deploy wherever they say. So I will double check who, according to the paperwork I have, it's Homeland that.
But the red trailer's outdated too, I mean, the radio's gone
I
out.
thought they took everything out of it, is what I
Huh?
thought.
They have not.
The radios are there, they're just 2 or 3 models ago.
More than that, but
Just trying to be
yes.
nice.
Yes. I will speak with Michelle, and then, if it's okay, could I just notify Tina and she can let you guys know when I
Yes.
find out?
Okay, just on, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so that was the discussion on the red trailer, so
trailer.
now let's come back to the white trailer where we started.
I
Whether
think
you
it'd be all right to loan it out to Chase County.
well, to surrounding counties.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be times we need to borrow stuff from other counties too.
It might have something we want.
And that's the big one. We borrow from other counties quite a bit. And I just put in a request just for Merge, which is Region 3 EMS, to borrow some of their stuff. So it'd be nice if we reciprocated.
It's a nice trailer,
Mhm.
usable, it's versatile.
Yeah,
It can be
it's
used for
not
lots of things.
all decked out, like, the PSAP is specifically decked out for dispatch. The command trailer is not decked out like a normal command trailer,
For
like an
command.
IMT trailer or something would be. It is very basic, so it can be used in several different applications. So that's why that command trailer is a little bit more useful.
Commissioner Becker?
Well, I was just gonna make a motion to go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a
Agree
comment.
to the deployment of the command trailer.
Okay.
For
Surrounding counties.
contiguous counties.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Becker allowing that use as you recommended. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Other comments or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carried 4-0. Thank you, Marcy. I think that's, like you said, we rely on other counties, and it's nice to be able to reciprocate.
Definitely, and thank you for that. And I will, just so you know, when it's the command trailer, because it is a Marion County asset, I will send an email to all the commissioners, just letting you know dates and times it's been deployed, and then when it is returned.
Okay.
So, because that's what, the same thing I do with the state, so.
Well, the radios in this one, are they usable for the next 5 years?
Yes, those are, the mobile radios are different than these. The mobile radio that is in the command trailer and is in my truck, those can be updated to AES. That's why mobile radios were not included in the grant. It's the portables that were included in the grant, because the mobiles can handle AES encryption.
So they're working other counties with their system easily.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any other questions?
All right, well, thank
Okay.
you, Marcy.
No problem. Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
gentlemen.
Keep things under control for us.
Did you want a copy of that?
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Nikki. You have an update for us?
A little one, I don't have much going on though.
Oh, but they're gonna have so many questions.
Just had one single piece of paper.
Like 4 sentences on it.
You're supposed to come in with a full book.
We have, I guess 17%, we've done Durham Park, Lehigh Township, City of Lehigh, those are completed. They're working on Catlin. Then we have Grant Fair Playing Center still left to do. That's where we're at on 17%. Splits and combos have been started, they're almost complete, and Shelby's been doing a great job on those. Our part-timer will be leaving us August 1st to go to college. I'm currently working on sales that need to be appealed to the state for sales ratio. Those are just kind of sales that, once we called into the interview, we may have called them not valid, and the state still shows them as valid. So since COVID, they kind of cut back on how much they call because of staffing issues. So it's a little more work on our end. But and then office will be closed the 27th for about 90 minutes from 1 until 2:30. Eagle View, we didn't think we would get the change finder until they did our 2023 flight, or sorry, 2026 flight, but they went ahead and did it on our 2020 flight with the 2023 overlay. So we are actually able to access the change finder now. And that's a virtual hands-on training for the whole office. Just figured it might be easier to not have public coming in and out during that 90 minutes. He did say it could take less, just depending on how many questions and how smooth it goes. So Brian, Shelby, and I have seen it, but none of the other staff have. So
That's good.
yeah.
To do it all together.
Yep. That's all I have. That's it.
All right, now it's time for the question.
Well, I seen I think you have two gentlemen in the car, or was it, I don't know if it was two or not, in the pickup the other day. They was in Canton Township going through the cemetery down there. And they did their job, so.
Yeah. Lewis and Taylor, they go together, so.
Yeah. Don't know whether they knew I was watching or not.
Well, at least they were working then. That's good.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
they're
If
pretty
they'd stayed
good.
under the shade tree any longer, I'd have come seen them. Yeah, they was out doing their job.
It's been hot out too, so really humid. So they go out early and they don't come back until like 4 in the afternoon. So that's their choice. They can come in when they get
Yeah.
too hot, but they've been out till about 4. So.
So it was hot today. I was mowing, but I seen them pull in. They went and did their job. Looked at the buildings and measured the buildings and stuff, so. That's part of the criteria, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any other questions? Well, good work on keeping up.
Thank you.
Keep after it.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
At least I kept you on schedule.
Yeah, we're ahead.
We can blame Tina and Brad if we get, if we stay ahead of schedule, like, it must be the problem.
That's right. That's right. So the next item is EVH engineering with Darren Neufeld. And we're quite a bit early, so. Ready for a recess?
We have a recess.
What are you up doing, Brian?
I'm trying to get a map for CBDG grant there in Peabody, so.
Is that, everything's through and approved, or?
Well, no, we're
Where you
still in the process of trying to get the grant written, but I think they want kind of a plot.
Oh.
So, I'm up here to try to get a map to help give that plot, so I can give it to SCED so that they can start writing our grant, and then we're gonna have a hearing, I think, on the 25th for that area.
Cool.
So hopefully, then we'll see send it away. And
Is that the downtown area you're talking
then
about?
we're gonna do Walnut from 2nd Street to 9th Street.
Okay.
And then Vine and Sycamore, so just kind of a block on each side of Walnut. SCED kind of said that the CBDG grant, they wanted kind of a big splash on the first, in the first one to show a big improvement. Since that's the most traveled, our downtown area, we wanted to kind of showcase it, and then we'll move off to the other parts around it as we can do it.
But I just visited with the commissioners, and I left message with the city hall, and haven't talked to Zach, the street guy, yet. But First Street, when you said 2nd Street, I said, why didn't you come on down to First Street? Because that is a ugly street.
It is.
And it's just
We're fighting the flood zone.
flood zone. Okay, that's all you need to say.
Yeah,
Everything
and
south of it,
so that, trying to look at those maps, the way we read it, we start going in past 2nd Street, it starts getting into that flood area, and then
Mhm.
CBDG said they won't touch
anything in the flood.
in there, and then talking to Joey on the planning zoning,
Right.
talking about you guys get special permission from FEMA to even do any work on those houses, and you can't improve them by more than 50%.
Yeah.
And
If they're in the flood zone.
If they're in the flood zone.
Yeah.
So then trying to make sure what is in the flood
Right.
zone and what's not, we just decided to we know Second Street and above is out of the flood zone.
Yeah. Yeah. There's quite a few rules by that.
Oh my gosh.
That goes into effect, and, you know, when you got half your main streets in that zone.
Yeah.
You gotta watch exactly what you do, because it should have to go to commercial just as much as it does to
Exactly.
residential.
So we're curious. There is a lady that's working on our flood area there in Peabody.
Cool.
That's, so she's gonna have a meeting. Well, she's talked to some stakeholders already, but she's trying to bring some stakeholders together. And then I guess there's a engineering group that's like the Silver Group or something that will come in and
Oh.
do work
Yeah.
for cost or.
Mhm.
So we're trying to find some ways to maybe mitigate our flooding
Oh, good.
in the area, so there's a lot of things going on.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes.
Why don't we take a 5-minute recess? It's 1:17, 18. We'll be back at 1:25.
I didn't know if you needed me to sign it,
No. Well, stop in.
Yes, that's
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
that way.
This
I had
conference
said
is
some
no
time to
longer
kill.
being recorded.
Fire everything back up.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, recess is over. Darren, come up to the hot seat by the microphone, so
Okay.
we've got some people online, they can hear you. And we're anxious to hear the update.
Well, it's a good update.
Yes, that's why we're anxious to hear it.
You never bring us bad news with you, Darren.
Isn't there an amendment,
Oh,
constitutional amendment that
yeah, you-
do not defines that I
Yeah.
don't incriminate myself?
Right.
I reserve that right in case I ever have to in the future. I will
Okay.
not answer that question.
That'll work.
In the past, no.
Okay.
Okay, so Kansas update.
Yes.
We opened that south stretch from the new highway for ag services and everybody south last week. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to drive it, but if you do, it rides real nice.
Looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. We still have some cleanup to do on it. They don't have the ditches all completed, but they're gonna kind of wait till they do both sections. And then also the permanent striping won't get down until we do the whole
Do
project.
it all at once. Sure.
The Marion County sign still has 2 signs to put up. We have a temporary stop sign up now. Larry's getting to it this week since he was stuck over on Sunflower last week. He just didn't have a chance to get over there. Now, as soon as we get those 2 signs up, we'll actually have the signs done on that stretch also. So, last week, we poured Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the north section, and they completed it Friday afternoon, right ahead of the storm. We got it covered, and they came back after the storm and finished saw cutting. And so it is all now done up to between the 2 entrances of Co-op. So what we were calling in the plans as phase 4 is pavement complete. This week they're working on sealing it and getting the edge rock in later this week. So the plan as of right now is to open that stretch. Oh, and they're pouring the one driveway piece to Co-op tomorrow. So the plan is next Monday, that stretch will get opened. That's the plan. Here's why I really wanted to come talk to you guys so we can get the word out as best we can. That also means next Monday, we're gonna close Kansas North.
Okay.
So there will be some signage, but probably not near enough for everybody to think
Right.
is sufficient, depending on where you're coming from and where you're going to.
Right.
It's only 500 feet that we're doing on that side. So the plan right now is they're gonna get in there Monday, Tuesday, tear it out. Wednesday, Thursday, get the base back in and prepped and pour it Friday.
Wow.
So if we can accomplish that, it'll be closed for 7 days after that. That following week, we get it sealed, edge rocked. So that next Monday, we open it. Maybe even that weekend, depending on. If we get the weekend traffic back on, I think is the most important thing right now. The nice thing is we're past harvest, so it's a little bit less traffic.
you're talking from new 56 north, right?
Correct, yes, yeah, which is where Bryce had to blade patch and blade patch
Yes,
and blade
yes,
patch, yeah.
yes.
Those
It's-
wallows were just.
Yeah, it's
horrible.
right to, that little hill kind of crest, and that's where we went to, is about that
Okay.
crest.
I was doing it for
Yes.
benefit.
So, the nice thing there is, we don't have hardly any signs to mess with, you know, that it's a little simpler stretch, other than it's going to inconvenience everybody north of 56. So, there will be a sign clear up at 290th, which of course is the only other paved road coming into that. There's gonna be a sign up there that says road closed
Good.
9 miles ahead.
Good.
And then at 210th, there'll be a sign there that says road closed to through traffic. Now, I went and drove it this morning after the rain, and 210th is in pretty good shape. For just the local residential traffic, those type of things, that should be fine for 210th to carry them. So, whether they come from, if they're coming from Jade or, probably not a way to come from the other side, I guess, but anyway, that's the big update that we're going to get out is that now. So let me ask you this: is there any other way you want me to try to disseminate that information from our side? I know if it gets in the paper, we can post it on whatever you guys have.
Put it on the county website.
Right.
It would be a good idea.
Yes.
Total time down is over 2 weeks,
Well,
or it's gonna run 2
it
weeks?
would be 2 weeks. That's the plan right now, is to be down 2 weeks. 1 week to tear out and put back, and then a week to cure. And if all goes well, I could probably open it on that Friday afternoon, so it wouldn't include that second weekend. We'd only be down 1 weekend. So it'd be Monday through Friday, the weekend, Monday through Friday.
Okay, we poured a lot of cement during hot weather, close to 95 and 100 degrees. What's the criteria that you do?
We follow KDOT's criteria,
Okay.
and that is 90 degrees on the cement itself. And we track, we put in a thermometer at about every 5th or 6th truck all day on those. We weren't worried about it till about 9 or 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
When we started seeing, and what we did is we tested, for example, on Wednesday, we ran 5 tests. So it was about every 250 yards, we were doing a test. And when we got about mid-morning and we started seeing the concrete temperature coming up around 85, we started checking about every 5th truck. We don't know what happened, we can't figure it out, and neither could builders. All of a sudden, we hit a spot where the concrete temperature dropped down to around 80. So one of a couple things happened. Either they got fresher water in from the reservoir that was cooler, coming through the city system over there, or they got to a spot in the rock and sand pile that was into the pile and not something that had been baked from the top. Because the concrete temperature actually dropped for a couple hours. But the hottest we've ever put concrete on the ground on that job so far has been 86 degrees. So we're staying well under the 90.
But I mean, then after it's laid, is there any cover that you put on it for so many hours?
We spray it with Cure. It gets that white spray Cure, and with their automatic machine they're using over there, not only does the top get sprayed, but since we're using a sliding paver,
Yeah.
those edges are exposed.
Okay.
Their Cure actually sprays those edges too. So once we get Cure on it, that helps with that. This concrete, and we'll supply the test results to you guys when we get all done with the project. This called for a 4,000 pound mix. That's a KDOT standard for roads and highways, is 4,000 pounds. Almost every single break we've had at 7 days has been over 5,000. And our 28 breaks are coming back between 6,500 and 7,000.
Wow.
So the other thing that's been kind of weird is watching them saw cut 2 and 3 days later to do the re-widening so we can seal. You can tell the concrete down there is still green. It's still hydrating at 3 or 4 days later, so that's why we're getting that ultimate strength like we are.
Well, I didn't cover some concrete for a building. About 6 days later or 7, it what they call exploded.
Yeah.
But it did, I mean, it just fissured everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's not a pretty sight to see it after it's been so pretty for 6-7 days, and then you walk up the next morning and from the heat of that day before, it's fissured. And
A lot of times we see that when a mix is on the wetter side, say a slump in
Yeah.
the 4 or 5 inch range.
yeah,
With this paver, we're doing a 1 inch slump.
well, that was the reason.
So it's a lot stiffer, and so we can actually spray just, well, they just by hand kind of missed the top right as they're doing that finish float.
Yeah.
And that's the only water we're adding to this at all. And so we don't have a tendency to have those type of problems because it's a drier mix.
Well, this was wet, I mean.
Yeah, easier than you used then.
Well, yeah,
And you
I was
could
the one
push-
scraping it down.
Yeah.
I said, wet it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, no, all of the concrete tests so far have been great. The contractors, all the subcontractors have been great to work with. They're doing you guys a really good job out there, so. It should be a road I will last long after I'm no longer surviving.
That's what we're hoping to. I mean, that's the idea.
You are definitely we do depth checks along the way too, right behind the paver, similar to what we do with asphalt. I walk along the back of the screed and I stab it every couple hundred feet, and only in a couple places are you getting the 8-inch minimum. Many more places you are thicker than 8-inch out there, which is what you're paying for. You don't pay for the override by the
You
contract.
can only figure out how to do 200 miles.
Because we bid this by the square yard, so you guys only pay by the surface square
Right,
yard.
right.
And we called for 8-inch.
Right.
If all of a sudden there's spots where it's 9.5,
Yeah.
well, that's to your benefit. Well, and builders, so selling it,
Yeah.
but Wildcats having to eat that
Right.
difference, so.
But the base work underneath is looking good.
Yeah, the base work, we had a couple little problems last week because we backed down that full mile to start at the old highway to move north. By the time we got closer to the old railroad tracks and across into the co-op area, we'd already backed 600 loaded concrete trucks across those areas. So if the base was gonna have a problem, it was gonna show up last week. And we had a couple spots where along the edge, and what we determined, it was spots where you guys had to do rock patches and asphalt patches before. So there was probably a little wet down in that sub base. But all it did is the truck started rutting about that deep. And so what we did is, because we have geogrid underneath, that all it was doing was pushing the geogrid down a little bit. We brought new fresh rock in on top of that. So instead of having 10 inches of rock under those wheel paths, we now have probably 12 or 14 inches of rock, plus this 8 inches of concrete. Otherwise, that base wasn't moving at all. As we
So actually those spots should be
even better.
better now,
Yeah.
reinforced.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
I can't say now if we can just do another 200 miles.
yeah, exactly.
Figure out how to pay for that.
Laura Kelly could pay for it.
Yeah.
So that, like I said, the biggest thing was just I wanted to get in here, just give you guys an update.
Yes.
Now that Bryce isn't here, but then also explicitly say, hey, please get the word out that Kansas North is gonna be closed
I
next week.
appreciate the side clear up.
Yeah, 290, that way we catch anybody that's
Yep.
maybe deciding,
There's
hey,
people
I can
come
cut
down
through.
290th that hit that road to come to Hillsborough.
Oh, yeah, I did it just the other day.
It'll just warn them that, hey, especially if you don't wanna drive on something other than pavement, don't go this way.
Yeah, very good. Well, this has been a very important project. It's a high traveled, high weight travel.
Yes.
Route. And I think that the county has made a very significant investment in that, but it's gonna pay long-term benefits.
It should.
And that's something the commission's been trying to emphasize, is we wanna fix things, fix them right. I think in the long term, there's benefit to that.
Do it right the first time.
Yes.
It was also very nice and economically beneficial this time to have all that crushed concrete on hand to use as the base.
Okay, good.
That's huge, because that saved you guys a lot of money
Yep.
on that, with the base.
Right.
To have all that readily available.
Right. Good.
And it worked well. It works very well. Especially, early on when we did, especially the ag services stretch, we had that rock base down, and, we get some of these little 1/4-inch rings that we were getting. The poor guys trying to put the pins in to set the center bar. They had to use a hammer drill to drill a hole to put the pin in to hold the
Already
center
setting
bar.
up again.
That's nice.
Yeah, that base was rock hard after a little bit of rain, so.
Good.
The bridge, there's a box bridge, right there north of Ag Services. From what I could see, I didn't jump down in the water, but I did kind of go underneath and take a look. The bridge itself, the box looks in very good shape. result is. Now, the guardrails, they're bad, but they're not an indication of the box. So we kind of checked out before we went across, and then we crossed another tube in the stretch north of the old highway in there. We crossed another tube, and it's an old metal tube. It looks about the same condition as every other metal tube you have. Yeah, it's got some rusty spots, but it's not failing.
Right.
So Bryce and I talked about that early on, that if we got to that, because I checked that one out while we had it open, when we had the dirt dug out, in case we needed to throw a temporary in at that, or a new one in at that time. And we both said, oh, it's probably gonna last as long as the other ones in the rest of the county are or have already, so we did not replace it. But,
Okay.
so.
Any other questions?
If and when we get everything else knocked out, which should be, if we can open that weekend, they're gonna jump across right behind it and pave the last 550 feet on the north or south side of the highway.
Right.
So, assuming all that happens as we are wanting to, liking it to, we could be looking at then that following week after we would open the north piece, doing the striping. And that hopefully is the last thing on the job. So, big kudos to Co-op and Ag Services. They have been great to work with through this whole process. Of course, they know they're gonna get the benefit out of it, but they've been they've allowed us to keep equipment on their properties and stockpiles, which has helped tremendously in distances. Also, want to shout out to all the landowners along there. They all worked with us well. We only had one farmer that was landlocked by the project, and we had the new rock base in the day he decided to go cut weeds. So we got him right into his field. He got everything cut. In fact, he even got sprayed and re-drilled in short-term beans before we set string line to do the paving. So timing-wise, it just worked out perfect for that one. Otherwise, everybody's been really good to work. I mean, he was good to work with.
Yes.
He was the only one we weren't sure if we were going to inconvenience, but we ended up not. It worked out perfect, so.
That's good.
Might be nice to have that in place this year, because they might be able to fill that flat storage up there.
Corn's looking pretty good.
They said, I was amazed, I talked to Jerry, been trying to keep him updated, and he said they still have 200,000 bushel they gotta get out of there.
Oh.
And so, because I said, you know, we're not in their way, but just trying to keep him updated on when we're gonna switch him to which side to the other. He said, yeah, if you can give us about 24 hours notice, because he said, you know, 10 to 15 trucks a day are gonna start rolling out of there carrying the last out.
Right.
So they can have it all cleaned out by the time new stuff starts coming in.
Good. Well, that's gonna time out really well.
The whole project finishing up should time out about as good as we could have possibly planned, because we'll be all on the new before anybody starts fall harvest.
Yeah, because you're sandwiched between the two harvests.
And we hit the window almost perfect.
Yeah. That's good. Jinx it.
And that way, well, yeah, that way, realistically, the co-op facility will be open from both sides as soon as anybody starts harvesting.
Right.
So we will be at a point where we're not impacting them at all. So,
Excellent.
all right.
Good. Other questions? If not, thank you, Darren.
Thank you very much.
We
Appreciate it,
really
guys.
appreciate it. It's nice to have a success story.
Well, and I'll try to, because you meet every Monday, is that right?
Generally on Mondays, yes.
I like my calendar. So 17th, so you meet on the 24th, and then you meet on the 31st, since that's the last day of the month, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'll see about coming back in whenever we have a better idea on that reopening,
Okay.
just so I can say the same thing, hey, it's gonna be open
Yep.
here.
Shout out to Tina. Get on the agenda. We appreciate this, especially when the good news update.
Well, I'll tell you the, you know, the bad news, you know, without being in public.
No, this is
So,
great.
no,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it all, thank you.
And I think on your packet, you saw the updates from Road and Bridge. Not Vicky Lee, Vicky is.
Yeah, I apologize. I thought Steve for some reason was coming, so there was like two things
Well,
from
no,
KDOT.
it's only closed
Yeah.
for 5
Did you read that?
Yes.
They want to know,
It's just we're
the
putting
PE is not eligible for the federal funding.
Right.
Wanted to know if the county is able to do the 100%.
Well, we don't really have much choice, do we?
And then they had,
Yeah, it was in the packet.
yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. Commissioners saw that
Yes.
with that grant request. So that 50,000 of the professional engineer design work was not shared, it would be on the county. So that would up our cost 50,000.
Removing the base, putting new base in, and then concrete.
Is it? I'm gonna ask for a motion to approve that change.
For which one is it?
Okay, it's page 24.
290th and 6 Miles Road.
Yes.
New base, new rock base, and new concrete.
Our new cost is,
It goes from 850,000 to 900,000.
And this would be from the west, correct?
Okay, you got anything else? Paul?
put up another.
Because this is the high-risk rural road.
We went to.
290th Road from 315 east 6 miles to Nighthawk Road.
We planned on 1.5, now it's 1.6.
Total. Well, no, the total stays the same.
Okay.
It's just,
Okay, not participation.
Engineering changes.
right, instead of the state paying 750,000, the state's gonna pay 700,000.
Okay. We'll pay 900.
We'll pay 900 instead of the 850, and that's the high-risk rural road, so it won't be done, it won't be actually constructed until 2025, if I remember right. Because those high risks are federal, just like this other one, we're just now getting started, it's been in the pipeline for work for 2 years. Okay, well,
That leaves us on the hook on the professional engineering, because at that point, we don't know what that's gonna cost. We just have an assumption.
Right.
Approximate.
Right. So I guess I would go ahead and make the motion to approve the change. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Crowfoot, second.
Oh.
Sorry, Commissioner Becker, second. This is kind of a tie there. Commissioner Becker, second. Other questions, discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 4-0. Got that taken care of. All right, Kurt. We have a tour today?
We have a tour, and I'll give you just a quick little update on some stuff here.
Great.
And we'll head out. Just to kind of give you the lowdown on all this, after some delays, we went and picked up a new ambulance on July 7th
Okay.
in Iowa, brought it back down. It has had its state mechanical inspection.
Good.
Now we're just waiting to get everything from the state in for their state inspection side,
Mhm.
and then get everything loaded. And we're waiting on the radio to get mounted. Once
Mhm.
it's mounted, everything's licensed. We have tags, the title. I have not heard back on the title yet. They were supposed to send it to us, but we've not received it yet.
Okay.
Once we have everything, it'll be in service.
Nice.
Just for your curiosity, as a reminder, since you guys were so gracious in helping us out here, we purchased that for $179,900. We put in $43,600 in additions. And with the radio, which will be put in, they've quoted us $2,256 for a total of $223,500, which comes in $26,500 of the $250,000 budget that you guys approved for us. So we definitely appreciate what you guys have done for us.
Well, it was a good find.
It was a lucky find.
Very fortunate to be able to find it in that.
Short time.
Yes.
Right, because
Yes.
we were backs against the wall.
Yes, and we're back to having mechanical issues with the trucks we do have. We were down to 2 trucks in the county again last
Every
week.
time I go by Midway, there's one there.
I think it's a daycare for them some days, and we knew we had some problems that were gonna probably pop up, and they're starting to pop up, so we're trying to keep ahead of them, but it's been a little rough the last couple of weeks again, but hopefully everything's up and running again.
Well, that's good anticipation on your part on bringing that to the priority for us.
So,
Thank you, Kurt.
Other than that, it is outside. You can go through it, take a look at what you guys approved and answer questions, and I'll give you the lowdown on some of the stuff that's on it.
All right.
Do we want to adjourn before we go down?
We'll do that versus, we're still actually in meeting.
Yeah, we are.
So it's just for those online, we're
We
gonna
have to come
be
back.
We're gonna be going outside to inspect the ambulance. I'm gonna guess 15 minutes.
You guys.
That means a half an hour.
It's hot outside.
It's hot outside. We will try to be back at, say, 2:10. I guess that's about 20 minutes for those online, but we are still in session.
And it is over in the lot, right here.
Excellent. All right.
This conference is no longer being.
The automatic list right now in the county.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll have 3.
This conference will now be recorded.
So I need to specify what Hillsborough anyway, not the Marion one.
What's this for?
That was the change on the grant that we voted on.
Oh.
We all need to decide it. We are back on.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Kurt, did you have anything else for us?
Unless you had questions or anything, I had nothing else with that.
Okay. Well, again, we appreciate that. I know we were in a terrible crunch with equipment. Short time frame, but it looks like a really good unit.
Yeah, that came together well.
So, anything else then? Or?
Don't believe so.
All right, we'll let you get back to it.
All right. Not needed for executive with Brad on anything?
He's not here today.
Oh, he's not here today? Okay.
So, he had a medical issue today. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, there was one other item, the last page in the packet, from Road and Bridge. It was from Cook, Flat, and Strobel, request for engineering proposal for annual routine bridge inspection. Lump sum of $2,000.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Becker to approve the two bridge inspections for $2,000.
Second.
Commissioner Dahlke, second. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 4-0.
Discussion though, on that, it would be, are those fracture critical bridges while we're doing that, isn't it? Every year? Or is that something, do you know why?
I do not know the answer to that.
This just says routine bridge
Yeah.
inspection. You'd think
Yeah.
it worded fracture critical if it was.
I'm wondering why that wasn't included in there.
It might be, I don't know.
Yeah. You have to do the fracture critical ones more than
And my guess is they, because we're down to just a
2.
and that would be
Maybe
two.
that's the two.
That just sounds like it could be that.
So, I don't have my bridge inventory. If you have bridge inventory, you could look up the bridge numbers.
You're ready to go again, huh?
There we go. All right, Ashley, did you have anything
I
else?
don't have anything else.
For us? Commission, any commission comments? If not, then I move to, no, actually, before I do, next meeting is Monday, the 24th,
So I got a week, okay?
12:30, a regular week. No extra meetings this week. Okay, with that, I move to adjourn. Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 4-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.